The director for of the Kimball for many years was the late Ted Pillsbury, who comes from a famous flour milling family in America. Ted bought many remarkable paintings for the Kimball, including the great Caravaggio card sharp. So Pillsbury was, when he was alive and still is, regarded as an authority on the formation of artistic reputations. So it was quite something when he went on record saying that in his opinion Kingerly would come to be ranked alongside great masters like Cézanne. He roams the territory of painting on his own, and he does what he has to do without reference to other painters, critics, curators or institutions. Well, unlike a great many artists who work like that, quite often at arm's length. In fact, I saw a photograph sometime over the weekend of a famous, was it de Kooning, working with a stick, literally 3 or 4 feet long, painting with it, whereas Kingerly works facing down on a bench. He uses a brush, he quite often uses it like that, so that he's working up the surface in the most intricate and closely worked way, and scraping paint off and allowing the paint to accrete quite often over years. So he's a person who's put a lifetime of thought about the stuff of paint and the nature of vision into the bank of his painting. And what he does is he's invested in that kind of contemplation. So these are not really decorative objects, though they are decorative. They're really an opening, a gateway into the world of somebody that I think is both a remarkable man and a remarkable artist. So,
reading the book, I was amazed at what it offered people in interpreting his work. These were extraordinary essays. They are extraordinary essays, and they do something which I instinctively disapprove of, which is to invoke the names of other painters in order to try and explain John Kingerly, so that essay after essay puts forward the names of painters, and it's misleading because it leads you down the road of having to remember and identify the painter who's mentioned and then relate that back to Kingerly. And in fact, when you look at Kingerly, I'm amazed the extent of his paintings creating memories of works one has seen. That you look at a fragment, a tiny item like that, a small painting like that, and it brings to mind the name of a painter, so that it's the reverse of what the essayists are doing. You're looking at Kingerly and he's striking different notes and chords, which are a tremendously valuable introduction to him. There are two painters who I admire greatly in Irish painting, Camille Souter and Barry Cook. And Kingerly shares with them a huge respect for the texture of the finished painting. Camille Souter's painting is not unlike his. I see many characteristic links. They're the same age, they came through a similar background, they discovered different sophistications in art and represented them in canvases. Often Camille's canvases are as small, if not smaller, than ones here. She was indifferent to the idea of size, but she wasn't a painter like Huey O'Donoghue, whose paintings are so big they wouldn't fit into this gallery, not even one of them. And Barry Cook, slightly different, but again, he's a painter who loved texture. And it's quite significant when I started out as an art critic in the 60s, that Sir Basil Goulding, who was one of the earliest and most encouraging of collectors, he did a show of Camille Souter and Barry Cook together. And he asked two critics, myself and another, to write about the painters for that. And what he recognised and what he talked about was exactly that thing, that the texture of the picture, the quality of the paint. Barry Cook has a way of putting oil paint onto canvas which is diluted with turpentine and therefore has many of the qualities of watercolour, while at the same time he allows the oil paint to invigorate the washes, the oil-based washes in the canvases. John brings to painting is the same as the uncertainty that is present in all great painters. If you think of Monet, he created huge canvases of water gardens and bridges, and you have to look at them so carefully to realise what he's really getting at, what the painting is about, rather than what the scene is about. And that is another of the factors that matter in appreciating John's work. I think if he has abandoned something at the age of 75, it's any of the extraneous detail of life that impedes his painting. And for that I commend him, and I'm amazed at the height and quality of what he is actually painting now and that you see all around you. Thank you.